Hello. So today is my inaugural stream for multi-streaming on my channel. So I'm streaming to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope right now. Yay! So we get to watch me craft and listen to a book. So today we've got the Canterbury Tales, chapters, Twitch is online finally. Okay. Chapters 24 and 25, The Nun's Priest and the Second Nun's Tale. So, yay! Awesome, thank you, Angie. So bear with me here. I will get it going. And I'm not sure what I was going to do, but I grabbed this yarn. One, because it was a mess in the pile, so I'm going to build something from it. I don't know what yet, but hey, we'll get there. And I just noticed like I'm really bright right here. I don't know why. Hands. Configure the video. Configure the video. Let's see how that... Oh, no wonder it's auto. It's not supposed to be auto stuff. Because it always messes up that gain. Like the exposure and the gain are like... like janked up there. Huge. Much better, I think. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I think. What do you guys think? Is the hands better? Hey, Dave! How you doing? Why did your thing not show up in the... It didn't show up. Hi, Meme! Hi, Mary Lee! How you doing? I am glad you could come by. I hear you guys are gonna have lunch. I gotta get over to my stream in the in Facebook so I can see. Oh, there it is. In the restream thing that I use your wolf didn't show up in the didn't show up there. Awesome. So I'm gonna be doing some I don't know what, but we're gonna be listening to Canterbury Tales while I do I don't know what. And yeah, so enjoy, and I will do my best to keep up with chats and stuff. And I repositioned my camera a bit, so whoops. The illusion dies sometimes when you Uh-oh. There's the frame. Because it was looking down at me, but I was told it's better to have it looking up at me. So, anyway, where is the book? The book. See, in the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. Okay, where's my talkie?
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Graham Williams. The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. Edited by D. Lang Purvis. This reading is based on the book The Canterbury Tales and Other Poems. The original text contains poems by Chaucer and a lot of notes and explanations by the editor. To view these, please click on the Gutenberg eText link on the LibriVox catalogue page of the Canterbury Tales. The Nun's Priest's Tale. The Prologue. "Ho!" quoth the knight, "good sir, no more of this. That ye have said is right enough, I wis, and much more. For little heaviness is right enough to much folk, I guess. I say for me, it is a great disease. Whereas men have been in great wealth and ease, to hearing of their sudden fall, alas, and the contrary is joy and great solace, as when a man hath been in poor estate, and climbeth up and waxeth fortunate, and there abideth in prosperity. Such thing is gladsome, as it thinketh me, and of such thing were goodly for to hearing of their sudden fall, alas, quoth our host, and the contrary is joy and great solace, right sooth, as when a man hath been in poor estate, and climbeth up and waxeth fortunate, cloud I wot not what, and also a tragedy right now ye heard, and pardie, no remedy it is for to bewail, nor complain that is done, and also it is pain, as ye have said, to hear of heaviness. Sir Monk, no more of this, so God ye bless. Your tale annoyeth all this company. Such talking is not worth a butterfly, for therein is there no sport nor game. Therefore, Sir Monk, Dan Piers by your name, I pray you heartily, tell us somewhat else. For sickly ne'er clinking of your bells that on your bridle hang on every side, by heaven's king that for us all ha' died, I should ere this have fallen down for sleep, although the slough had never been so deep. Then had your tale been all told in vain. For certainly, as these clerk is saying, whereas a man may have no audience, naught helpeth it to tell his sentence. And well I wot the substance is in me, if anything shall well reported be. Sir, say somewhat of hunting, I you pray." "Nay," quoth the monk, "I have no lust to play. Now let another tell, as I have told." Then spake our host with rude speech and bold, and said unto the nunne's priest anon, "Come near, thou priest, come hither, thou Sir John. Tell us such thing as may our hearties glad. Be blithe, although thou ride upon a jade. What though thine horse be both foul and lean? If he will serve thee, reck thou not a bean. Look that thine heart be merry evermore." "Yes, host," quoth he, "so may I ride or go, but I be merry, I wis I will be blamed." And right anon his tale he hath attained, and thus he said unto us every one, this sweete priest, this goodly man, Sir John. The Nun's Priest's Tale. A poor widow, some deal estept in age, was whilom dwelling in a poor cottage beside a grove, standing in a dale. This widow, of which I tell you my tale, since thilke day that she was last a wife, in patience led a full simple life. For little was her chattel and her rent. By husbandry of such as God her sent, she found herself, and eke her daughters too. 3 large sows had she, and no more, 3 kine, and eke a sheep that hight a mall. Full sooty was her bower, and eke her hall, in which she ate full many a slender meal. Of poignant sauce knew she never a deal. No dainty morsel passed through her throat. Her diet was accordant to her coat. Repletion her made never sick. A temper diet was all her physic, and exercise, and hearty's suffisance. The gouty led her nothing for to dance, nor apoplexy shent in not her head. No wine drank she, neither white nor red. Her board was served most with white and black, milk and brown bread, in which she found no lack. Seined bacon, sometimes an egg or tway, for she was, as it were, a manner day. A yard she had, enclosed all about with stickes, and a dry ditch without, in which she had a cock, hight Chanticleer, in all the land of crowing, nas his peer. His voice was merrier than the merry organ on Massa days that in the church is gone. Well sickere was his crowing in his lodge than is a clock or an abbey horloge. By nature he knew each ascension of the equinoctial in thilke town. For when degrees 15 were ascended, then crew he, that it might not be amended. His comb was redder than the fine coral, embattled as it were a castle wall. His bill was black, and as the jet it shone. Like azure were his legges and his tone. His nail is whiter than the lily flower, and like the burnished gold was his colour. This gentle cock had in his governance 7 hennes, for to do all his pleasance, which were his sisters and his paramours, and wondrous like to him as of colours, of which the fairest hued in the throat was called Damosella Partelote. Courteous she was, discreet and debonair, and companionable, and bare herself so fair since the day that she 7 night was old, that truly she had the heart in hold of Chanticleer, locked in every lith. He loved her so, that well was him therewith. But such a joy it was to hear them sing, when that the brightest sun began to spring, in sweet accord, my leaf is fairy in land. For at that time, as I have understand, beasties and birdies could speak and sing. And so befell that in a dawning, as Chanticleer among his wives all sat on his perch that was in the hall, and next him sat this fair Partelote, this Chanticleer gan groanen in his throat, as man that in his dream is dretched sore. And when that Partelote thus heard him roar, she was aghast, and said, "Hearted dear, what aileth you to groan in this manner? Ye be a very sleeper, fie for shame." And he answered and said thus, "Madam, I pray you that ye take it not a grief. By God, me mette I was in such mischief right now, that yet mine heart is sore affright. Now God," quoth he, "my sweven read aright, and keep my body out of foul prison. Me mette how that I roamed up and down within our yard, whereas I saw a beast was like an hound, and would have made a rest upon my body, and would have had me dead. His colour was betwixt yellow and red, and tipped was his tail, and both his ears with black. Unlike the remnant of his hairs, his snout was small, with glowing eyen tway. Oh, yet of his look almost for fear I die. This caused me my groaning doubteless. Away, quoth she, fie on you, hearteless. Alas, quoth she, for by that God above, now have ye lost my heart and all my love. I cannot love a coward, by my faith. For certes, whatso any woman saith, we all desiren, if it mighte be, to have husbands hardy, wise, and free, and secret, and no niggard, nor no fool, nor him that is aghast of every tool, nor no avantour, by that God above. How durste ye for shame say to your love that anything might make you afeard? Have ye no man's heart and have a beard? Alas, and can ye be aghast of swevenes? Nothing but vanity, God wot, in sweven is. Swevens engender of repletions, and oft of fume and of complexions, when humours be too abundant in a wight. Certes this dream, which ye have met to-night, cometh of the great superfluity of your red cholera, pardie, which causeth folk to dreaden in their dreams of arrows, and of fire with ready beams, of ready beasties that they will them bite, of contech, and of whelpes, great and light. Right as the humour of melancholy causeth full many a man in sleep to cry for fear of bullies, or of beares black, or else that black devils will them take. Of other humours could I tell also, that work in many a man in sleep much woe, that I will pass as lightly as I can. Lo, Cato, which was that so wise a man, said he not thus, nay, do no force of dreams. Now, sir, quoth she, when we fly from these beams, for God is love, as take some laxative, on peril of my soul and of my life, I counsel you the best, I will not lie, that both of choler and melancholy ye purge you. And for ye shall not tarry, though in this town is no apothecary, I shall myself 2 herbies teache you, that shall be for your health and for your prow. And in our yard the herbies shall I find, the which have of their property by kind to purge you beneath and eke above. Sire, forget not this, for God is love. Ye be full choleric of complexion. Were that the sun, in his ascension, you find it not replete of humours hot. And if it do, I dare well lay a groat, that ye shall have a fever tertiane, or else an ague that may be your bane. A day or 2 ye shall have digestives of wormes, ere ye take your laxatives, of laurel, centaury, and fumitory, or else of elderberry that groweth there, of catapuse, or of the gaiterberries, or herb ivy growing in our yard that merry is. Pick them right as they grow, and eat them in. Be merry, husband, for your father's kin, dready no dream. I can say you no more. Madam, quoth he, grand mercy of your lore. But natheless, as touching Dan Caton, that hath of wisdom such a great renown, though that he bad no dream is for to dread, by God, men may in oldie bookies read of many a man more of authority than ever Cato was, so may I thee, that all the reverse say of his sentence, and have well founden by experience, that dreames be significations as well of joy as tribulations, that folk enduren in this life present. There needeth make of this no argument, the very previous showeth it indeed. One of the greatest authors that men read saith thus, that Whilome two fellows went on pilgrimage in a full good intent, and happened so, they came into a town where there was such a congregation of people, and eke so strait of herbergage, that they found not as much as one cottage in which they both might lodged be. Wherefore they musten of necessity, as for that night, departe company, and each of them went to his hostelry, and took his lodging, as it would fall. The one of them was lodged in a stall, far in a yard, with oxen of the plough. That other man was lodged well enow, as was his aventure, or his fortune, that us governeth all, as in commune. And so befell that long ere it were day, this man mette in his bed there, as he lay, how that his fellow gan upon him call, and said, Alas! For in an ox's stall this night shall I be murdered where I lie. Now help me, deare brother, or I die. In all a haste come to me, he said. This man out of his sleep for fear abraid, but when that he was waked out of his sleep, he turned him, and took of this no keep. He thought his dream was but a vanity. Thus twice in his sleeping dreamed he, and at the thirde time yet his fellow again came, as he thought, and said, I am now slaw. Behold my bloody woundes deep and wide. Arise up early in the morning tide, and at the west gate of the town, quoth he, a carty full of dung there shalt thou see, in which my body is hid privily. Do thilke cart a rosti boldely. My gold caused my murder, sooth to sayn, and told him every point how he was slain, with a full piteous face, and pale of hue. And trusty well his dream he found full true, for on the morrow, as soon as it was day, to his fellow's inn he took his way. And when that he came to this ox's stall, after his fellow he began to call. The hosteler answered him anon, and said, Sir, your fellow is y gone, as soon as day he went out of the town. This man gan fallen in suspicion, remembering on his dreames that he met, and forth he went, no longer would he let, unto the west gate of the town, and fand a dung cart, as it went for to dung land, that was arrayed in the same wise as ye have heard the deade man devise. And with an hearty heart he gan to cry, Vengeance and justice of this felony! My fellow murdered in this same night, and in this cart he lies, gaping upright. I cry out on the ministers, quoth he, that should he keep and rule this city. Haro, alas! Here lies my fellow slain. What should I more unto this tale sayn? The people out start, and cast the cart to ground, and in the middle of the dung they found the deade man, that murdered was all new. Oh, blissful God, that art so good and true, lo, how that thou bewrayest murder alway. Murder will out, that see we day by day. Murder is so loathsome and abominable to God, that is so just and reasonable, that he will not suffer it healed be, though it abide a year, or 2 or 3. Murder will out, this is my conclusion. And right anon the ministers of the town have hent the carter, and so sore him pined, and eke the hosteler so sore engined, that they beknew their wickedness anon, and were hanged by the necky bone. Here may ye see that dreames be too dread, And certes, in the same book I read, right in the nexty chapter after this, I gabby not, so have I joy and bliss, two men that would have passed over sea for certain cause into a far country, if that the wind not hadde been contrary, that made of them in a city for to tarry, that stood fell merry upon an haven side. But on a day against the eventide the wind gan change, and blew right as them lest. Jolly and glad they wented to their rest, and casted them full early for to sail. But to the one man fell a great marvail, that one of them in sleeping as he lay, he met a wondrous dream against the day. He thought a man stood by his bedde's side, and him commanded that he should abide, and said him thus: If thou tomorrow wend, thou shalt be drowned. My tale is at an end. He woke and told his fellow what he met, and prayed him his voyage for to let. As for that day, he prayed him to abide. His fellow, that lay by his bedde's side, gan for to laugh, and scorned him full fast. No dream, quoth he, may so my heart aghast, that I will let it for to do my things. I set not a straw by thy dreamings, for swevens be but vanities and japes. Men dream all day of owls and of apes, and eke of many a maze therewithal. Men dream of thing that never was nor shall. But since I see that thou wilt here abide, and thus forslothe wilfully thy tide, God wot, it rueth me, and have good day. And thus he took his leave and went his way. But ere that he had half his courses sailed, I know not why, nor what mischance it ailed, but casually the ship's bottom rent, and ship and man under the water went, in sight of other shippes there beside, that with him sailed at the same tide. And therefore, fair Partelote so dear, by such examples old mayst thou lear, that no man shoulde be too reckless of dreams. For I say thee, doubteless, that many a dream full sore is for to dread. Lo, in the life of Saint Kenelm I read, that was Kenulphus' son, the noble king of Mercenric, how Kenelm met a thing, a little ere he was murdered on a day, his murder in his vision, he say. His nurse him expounded every deal his sweven, and bade him to keep him well for treason. But he was but 7 years old, and therefore little tale hath he told of any dream, so holy was his heart. By God, I had lever than my shirt that ye had read his legend as have I. Dame Partelote, I say you truly, Macrobius, that wrote the vision in Afric of the worthy Scipion, affirmeth dreames, and saith that they be warnings of thingies that men after see. And furthermore, I pray you, look ye well in the Old Testament of Daniel, if he held dreames any vanity. Read eke of Joseph, and there shall ye see whether dreams be sometimes, I say not all, warnings of thingies that shall after fall. Look of Egypt, the king, Dan Pharaoh, his baker and his butler also, whether they felt in none effect in dreams. Whoso will seek the acts of sundry remes may read of dreames many a wondrous thing. Lo, Croesus, which was of Lydia king, mette he not that he sat upon a tree, which signified he should hanged be. Lo, here Andromache, Hector his wife, that day that Hector should lose his life, she dreamed on the night beforn, how that the life of Hector should be lorn. If thilke day he went into bataille, she warned him, but it might not avail. He went forth to fighting natheless, and was he slain anon of Achilles. But thilke tale is all too long to tell, and eke it is nigh day, I may not dwell. Shortly I say, as for conclusion, that I shall have of this avision adversity. And I say furthermore, that I nay tell of laxatives no store, for they be venomous, I wot it well. I them defy, I love them never a del. But let us speak of mirth, and stint all this. Madam Partalot, so have I bliss of one thing God hath sent me largy grace. For when I see the beauty of your face, ye be so scarlet hued about your eyen, I maketh all my dready for to dien. For also sicker as in principio mulieris hominis confusio. Ha ha, madam, the sentence of this Latin is, woman is man's joy and man's bliss. For when I feel at night your softy side, albeit that I may not on you ride, for that our perch is made so narrow, alas, I am so full of joy and of solace, that I defy both sweven and eke a dream. And with that word he flew down from the beam, for it was day, and eke his hennes all, and with a chuck he gan them for to call, for he had found a corn lay in the yard. Royal he was no more afeard. He feathered Partalotta 20 time, and as oft trod her, ere that it was prime. He looked as it were a grim lion, and on his toes he roamed up and down. He deigned not to set his feet to ground. He chucked when he had a corn found, and to him ran then his wives all. Thus royal as a prince is in his hall, leave I the Chanticleer in his pasture, and after will I tell his aventure. When that the month in which the world began, that highty March, when God first maked man, was complete, and they passed were also, since March ended, 30 days and 2, befell that Chanticleer in all his pride, his 7 wives walking him beside, cast up his eyen to the brighte sun, that in the sign of Taurus had he run 20 degrees and 1, and somewhat more. He knew by kind, and by none other lore, that it was prime, and crew with blissful steven. The sun, he said, is clomben up in heaven 20 degrees and 1, and more, he wis. Madam Partalot, my world is bliss. Hearken these blissful birdies, how they sing, and see the freshy flowers, how they spring. Full is mine heart of revel and solace. But suddenly him fell a sorrowful case, for ever the latter end of joy is woe. God wot that worldly joy is soon ago, and if a rhetor could he fair indite, he in a chronicle might it safely write, as for a sovereign notability, now every wise man let him hearken me. This story is all as true, I undertake, as is the book of Launcelot du Lake, that women hold in full great reverence. Now will I turn again to my sentence. A coll fox, full of sly iniquity, that in the grove had wanted yeares 3, by high imagination forecast, the same night thorough the hedges brast into the yard, where Chanticleer the fair was wont, and eke his wives, to repair. And in a bed of wortes still he lay, till it was past undern of the day, waiting his time on Chanticleer to fall. As gladly do these homicides all, that in a weighty lie to murder men. O false murderer, rouking in thy den! O new Iscariot, new Ganilion! O false dissimuler! O Greek Sinon, that broughtest Troy all utterly to sorrow! O Chanticleer, accursed be the morrow that thou into thy yard flew from the beams. Thou wert full well y-warned by thy dreams that thilke day was perilous to thee. But what that God forewot must needes be, after the opinion of certain clerkes. Witness on him that any perfect clerk is, that in school is great altercation in this matter, and great disputation, and hath been of 100,000 men. But I ne cannot bolt it to the bren, as can the holy doctor Augustine, or Boece, or the bishop Bradwardine. Whether that God is worthy for weeting straineth me needly for to do a thing, needly call I simple necessity. Or else, if free choice it be granted me to do that same thing, or do it not, though God forewot it, ere that it was wrought. Or if his weeting straineth never a deal, but by necessity conditionnel, I will not have to do up such materie. My tale is of a cock, as ye may hear, that took his counsel of his wife with sorrow, to walken in the yard upon the morrow that he had met the dream, as I you told. Woman's counsels be full often cold. Woman's counsel brought us first to woe, and made Adam from paradise to go. There as he was, full merry and well at ease. But for I know not to whom I might displease, if I counsel of women would he blame, pass over, for I said it in my game. Read authors where they treat of such matter, and what they say of women ye may hear. These be the cockie's wordies, and not mine. I can no harm of no woman divine. Fair in the sand, to bathe her merrily, lies Partelote and all her sisters by, against the sun. And Chanticleer so free sang merrier than the mermaid in the sea. For Physiologus saith sickily, how that they singe well and merrily. And so befell that, as he cast his eye among the wortes on a butterfly, he was wary of this fox that lay full low. Nothing they list him then for to crow, but cried anon, cock, cock, and up he start, as man that was afraid in his heart. For naturally a beast desireth flee from his contrary, if be may it see. Though he ne'er erst had soon it with his eye, this Chanticleer, when he gan him espy, he would have fled, but that the fox anon said, Gentle sir, alas, why will ye gon? Be ye afraid of me that am your friend? Now, certes, I were worse than any fiend, if I to you would harm or villainy. I am not come your counsel to espy, but truly the cause of my coming was only for to hearken how ye sing. For truly ye have as merry a Stephen as any angel hath that is in heaven. Therewith ye have of music more feeling than had Boece, or any that can sing. My lord your father, God his soule bless, and eke your mother of her gentleness, have in mine house been to my great ease. And certes, sir, full fain would I you please. But for men speak of singing, I will say, so may I brook well mine eyen tway, save you, I heard never man so sing, as did your father in the morning. Certes, it was of heart all that he sung. And for to make his voice the more strong, he would so pain him, that with both his eyen he must wink, so loud he would cryen, and standing on his tiptoes therewithal, and stretchy forth his necke long and small. And eke he was of such discretion, that there was no man in no region that him in song or wisdom mighty pass. I have well read in Dan Burnell the ass, among his versy, how that there was a cock, that for a priest's son gave him a knock upon his leg while he was young and nice, he made him for to lose his benefice. But certain, there is no comparison between the wisdom and discretion of your father and his subtlety. Now sing ye, sir, for sainted charity, let's see, can ye your father counterfeit? This Chanticleer his wings began to beat, as man that could not his treason espy, so was he ravished with his flattery. Oh, alas, ye lordies, many a false flatterer is in your court, and many a lozenger that please you well more, by my faith, than he that soothfastness unto you saith. Read in Ecclesiast of flattery, beware ye lordies of their treachery. This Chanticleer stood high upon his toes, stretching his neck, and held his eyen close, and gan to crow loudy for the nonce, and Dan Russell the fox start up at once, and by the gorge hent Chanticleer, and on his back toward the wood him bare. For yet was there no man that him pursued. O destiny that must not be eschewed! Alas, that Chanticleer flew from the beams! Alas, his wife wrought he naught of dreams! And on a Friday fell all this mischance. O Venus, that art goddess of pleasance, since that thy servant was this Chanticleer, and in thy service did all his power more for delight than the world to multiply, why wilt thou suffer him on thy day to die? O Gaufrid, dearie master sovereign, that when thy worthy king Richard was slain with shot, complainedest his death so sore, why no had I now thy sentence and thy lore, the Friday for to chiden, as did ye? For on a Friday soothly slain was he. Then would I show you how that I could plain for Chanticleer's dread and for his pain. Certes, such cry nor lamentation was ne'er of ladies made, when Ilion was won, and Pyrrhus with his straightest sword, when he had hent King Priam by the beard and slain him, as saith us Eneidos, as maiden all the hennies in the close, when they had seen of Chanticleer the sight. But sovereignly Dame Partelote shright, full louder than did Hasdrubale's wife, when that her husband had lost his life, and that the Romans had burnt Carthage. She was so full of torment and of rage, that wilfully into the fire she start, and burnt herself with a steadfast heart. O woeful hennies, Right so cried ye, as when that Nero burned the city of Rome, cried the senatores' wives, for that their husbands losten all their lives. Without a guilt this Nero hath them slain. Now will I turn unto my tale again. The saily widow and her daughters two heard these hennes cry and make a woe, and at the doors out started they anon, and saw the fox toward the wood is gone, and bare upon his back the cock away. They cried, "Out, Harrow, and well away! Aha, the fox!" And after him they ran, and eke with staves many another man ran Collar dog, and Talbot, and Garland, and Malkin with her distaff in her hand, ran cow and calf, and eke the very hogges, so feared they were for barking of the dogges, and shouting of the men and women eke. They ran so them thought their hearts would break. They yelled as the fiendes do in hell. The duckes cried as men would them quell. The geese for fear flewen o'er the trees. Out of the hive came the swarm of bees, so hideous was the noise bendicite. Certes he, Jack Straw, and his meinie, ne made never shouties half so shrill, when that they woulden any Fleming kill, as thilke day was made upon the fox. Of brass they brought a beames, and of box, of horn and bone, in which they blew and pooped, and therewithal they shrieked and they hooped. It seemed as the heaven shoulde fall. Now, goode men, I pray you, hearken all. Lo, how fortune turneth suddenly the hope and pride eke of her enemy. This cock that lay upon the fox's back, in all his dread unto the fox he spake, and said, "Sir, if that I were as ye, yet would I say, as wisly God help me, turn ye again, ye proudy churlies all, a very pestilence upon you fall. Now am I come unto the wood's side. Mo gray your head, the cock shall here abide. I will him eat in faith, and that anon." The fox answered, "In faith it shall be done." And as he spake the word, all suddenly the cock brake from his mouth deliverly, and high upon a tree he flew anon. And when the fox saw that the cock was gone, "Alas," quoth he, "O Chanticleer, alas! I have," quoth he, "adone to you trespass, inasmuch as I maked you afeard, when I you hent and brought out of your yard. But, sir, I did it in no wick intent. Come down, and I shall tell you what I meant. I shall say sooth to you, God help me so." "Nay then," quoth he, "I shrew us both the two, and first I shrew myself, both blood and bones. If thou beguile me oftener than once, thou shalt no more through thy flattery do me to sing and winky with mine eye. For he that winketh when he shoulde see, all wilfully, God let him never thee." "Nay," quoth the fox, "but God give him mischance, that is so indiscreet of governance, that jangleth when that he should hold his peace. Lo, what it is for to be reckless and negligent, and trust on flattery. But ye that hold this tale a folly, as of a fox, or of a cock and hen, take the morality thereof, good men. For St. Paul saith, that all that written is, To our doctrine it written is iwis, take the fruit, and let the chaff be still. Now, goode God, if that it be thy will, as saith my Lord, so make us all good men, and bring us all to thy high bliss. Amen. The end of the nun's priest's tale, but there's an epilogue. The epilogue. Sir Nun is priest, our hostess said anon. Blessed be thy breech and every stone. This was a merry tale of Chanticleer. But by my truth, if thou wert secular, thou wouldest be a tready fowler right. For if thou have courage, as thou hast might, thee were need of hennies, as I ween, yea, more than 7 times 17. See what brawnies hath this gentle priest, so great a neck, and such a large a breast. He looketh as a sparrowhawk with his eyen. Him needeth not his colour for to dyen with Brazil, nor with grain of Portugal. But, sir, fairy fall you for your tale. And after that he with full merry cheer said to another, as ye shall hear. End of the epilogue to the nun's priest's tale.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Alice Atwater. The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. Edited by D. Lang Purves. This reading is based on the book The Canterbury Tales and Other Poems. The original text contains poems by Chaucer and a lot of notes and explanations by the editor. To view these, please click on the Gutenberg eText link on the LibriVox catalog page of the Canterbury Tales. The Second Nun's Tale. The minister in Norris unto vices, which that men call in English idleness. The porter at the gate is of delices, to eschew, and by her contraire her oppress, that is to say by lawful business. Well ought we to do all our intent, lest that the fiend through idleness us hent. For he, that with his 1,000 cordes sly, continually us waiteth to beclap, when he may man in idleness espy, he can so lightly catch him in his trap, till that a man be hent right by the lap, he is not where the fiend hath him in hand. Well ought we work, and idleness withstand. And though men dreaded never for to die, yet see men well by reason doubteless, that idleness is root of sluggardy, of that there cometh never good increase, and see that sloth them holdeth in a leas, only to sleep, and for to eat and drink, and to devouren all that others swink, and for to put us from such idleness, that cause is of so great confusion. I have here done my faithful business, after the legend, in translation, right of thy glorious life and passion. Thou with thy garland wrought of rose and lily, thee mean I, maid and martyr, Saint Cecilie. And thou art the flower of virgins all, of whom that Bernard list so well to write. To thee at my beginning first I call. Thou comfort of us wretches, do me indite thy maiden's death, that won through her merit the eternal life, and o'er the fiend victory, as man may after readen in her story. Thou maid and mother, daughter of thy Son, thou well of mercy, sinful souls' cure, in whom that God of bounty chose to won. Thou humble and high o'er every creature, thou noblest, so far forth our nature, that no disdain the Maker had of kind, his Son in blood and flesh to clothe and wind. Within the cloister of thy blissful sides took man's shape the eternal love and peace, that of the trine compass lord and guide is whom earth and sea and heaven out of release. I Harry, and thou virgin Wemelis, bare of thy body, and dweltest maiden pure, the creator of every creature. Assembled is in thee magnificence, with mercy, goodness, and with such pity, that thou, that art the Son of excellence, not only helpest them that pray to thee, but oftentime of thy benignity, full freely, ere that men thy help beseech, thou goest before, and art thy lives leech. Now help, thou meek and blissful fair maid, me flemed wretch in this desert of Gaul. Think on the woman Cananee that said that whelpes eat some of the crummes all, that from their lord's table by y fall. And though that I, unworthy son of Eve, be sinful, yet accept my believe. And for that faith is dead without to workes, for to worke give me wit and space, that I be quit from thenes that most dirk is. O thou, that art so fair and full of grace, be thou mine advocate in that high place, whereas withouten end is sung Hosanna, thou Christe's mother, daughter dear of Anne. And of thy light my soul in prison light, that troubled is by the contagion of my body, and also by the weight of earthly lust and false affection. O haven of refuge, O salvation of them that be in sorrow and distress, now help, for to my work I will me dress. Yet pray I you, that reade what I write, forgive me that I do no diligence, this ilke story subtilly to indite. For both have I the wordes and sentence of him that at the sainte's reverence the story wrote, and follow her legend, and pray you that you will my work amend. First will I you the name of Saint Cecilie expound, as men may in her story see. It is to say in English heaven's lily, for pure chasteness of virginity, or for she whiteness had of honesty, and green of conscience, and of good fame the sweete savour Lily was her name. Or Sicily is to say the way of blind, for she example was by good teaching, or else Cecilie, as I written find, is joined by a manner conjoining of heaven and Leah, and herein figuring the heaven is set for thought of holiness, and Leah for her lasting business. Cecilie may eke be said in this manner, wanting of blindness, for her greate light of sapience, and for her thewes clear. Or elles, lo, this maiden's name bright of heaven and Leos comes, for which by right men might her well the heaven of people call, example of good and wise workes all. For Leo's people in English is to say, and right as men may in the heavens see the sun and moon and stars every way, right so men ghostily in this maiden free, so when of faith the magnanimity, and eke the clearness whole of sapience, and sundry workes bright of excellence. And right so as these philosophers write, that heaven is swift and round and eke burning, right so was fair Cecilie the white, full swift and busy in every good working, and round and whole in good preserving, and burning ever in charity full bright. Now have I you declared what she hight. This maiden bright Cecile, as her life saith, was come of Romans, and of noble kind, and from her cradle fostered in the faith of Christ, and bare his gospel in her mind. She never ceased, as I written find, of her prayer, and God to love and dread, beseeching him to keep her maidenhead. And when this maiden should unto a man y-wedded be, that was full young of age, which that it called was Valerian, and come was the day of marriage, she, full devout and humble in her courage, under her robe of gold that sat full fair, had next her flesh it clad her in an hair. And while the organs made melody, to God alone thus in her heart sang she, O Lord, my soul and eke my body gie unwemmed, lest that I confounded be. And for his love that died upon the tree, every second or third day she fast, I bidding in her orisons full fast. The night came, and to bedde must she gon with her husband, as it is the manner, and privily she said to him anon, O sweet and well-beloved spouse dear, there is a counsel, and ye will hear it, which that right fain I would unto you say, so that ye swear ye will not bewray. Valerian gan fast unto her swear, that for no case nor thing that mighte be, He never should to none be rayen her. And then at erst thus to make him saide she, I have an angel which that loveth me, that with great love, whether I wake or sleep, is ready I my body for to keep. And if that he may feelen out of dread, that ye may touch or love in villainy, he right anon will slay you with the deed, and in your youthe thus ye shall die. And if that ye in cleane love me guy, he will you love as me, for your cleanness, and show to you his joy and his brightness. Valerian, corrected as God would, answered again, If I shall truste thee, let me that angel see, and him behold. And if that is a very angel be, then will I do as thou hast prayed me. And if that it a very angel be, then will I do as thou hast prayest me. And if thou love another man, forsooth, right with this sword, then will I slay you both. Cecily answered anon right in this wise, If that you list, the angel shall ye see, so that ye trow of Christ, and you baptize. Go forth to Via Appia, quoth she, that from this towne stands but miles 3, and to the poore folkes that there dwell, say them right thus, as that I shall you tell. Tell them that I, Cecile, you to them sent, to show you the good Urban the old, for secret needes and for good intent. And when that ye Saint Urban have behold, tell him the wordes which I to you told, and when that he hath purged from you sin, then shall ye see the angel ere ye twin. Valerian is to the place gone, and right as he was taught by her learning, he found this holy old Urban anon, among the saintes burials louding. And he anon, without a tarrying, did his message, and when that he it told, Urban for joy his handes gan uphold. The teares from his eyen let he fall. Almighty Lord, O Jesus Christ, quoth he, sower of chaste counsel, heard of us all, the fruit of thilke seed of chastity, that thou hast sown in Sicily, take to thee, lo, like a busy bee, without a guile, thee serveth I thine own thrall, Sicily. For thilke spouse, that she took but now, full like a fierce lion she sendeth here, as meek as e'er was any lamb to owe. And with that word anon there gan appear an old man, clad in white clothes clear, that had a book with letters of gold in hand, and gan before Valerian to stand. Valerian, as dead, fell down for dread, when he him saw, and he uphent him though, and on his book right thus he gan to read. One Lord, one faith, one God without a mo', one Christendom, one Father of all also, above in all, and over all, everywhere. These wordes all with gold y-written were. When this was read, then said this olde man, Believest thou this, or no? Say yea or nay. I believe all this, quoth Valerian. For soother thing than this I dare well say, under the heaven no wight thinke may. Then vanished the old man, he wist not where, and Pope Urban him christened him right there. Valerian went home, and found Cecily within his chamber with an angel stand. This angel had of roses and of lily coronas too, the which he bare in hand. And first to Cecile, as I understand, he gave the one, and after gan he take the other to Valerian her make. With body clean, and with unwemmed thought, keep I well these coronas too, quoth he. From Paradise to you I have them brought, nor ever more shall they rotten be, nor lose their sweet savour, truste me. Nor ever wight shall see them with his eye, but he be chaste, and hate villainy. And thou, Valerian, for thou so soon assented hast to good counsel, also say what thee list, and thou shalt have thy boon. I have a brother, quoth Valerian though, that in this world I love no man so. I pray you that my brother may have grace to know the truth, as I do in this place. The angel said, God liketh thy request, and bothe with the palm of martyrdom ye shalle come unto this blissful rest. And with that word Tiburce his brother came, and when that he the savour undernomen, which that the roses and the lilies cast, within his heart he gan to wonder fast, and said, I wonder, this time of the year, whence that sweete savour cometh so, of rose and lilies, that I smelle here. For though I had them in mine handes too, the savour might in me no deeper go. The sweeter smell, that in my heart I find, hath changed me all in another kind. Valerian said, 2 crownes here have we, snow white and rose red, that shine clear, which that thine eyen have no might to see. And as thou smellest them through my prayer, so shalt thou see them. Levy, brother dear, if it so be thou wilt without a sloth believe aright, and know the very troth. Tiburce answered, Sayest thou this to me in soothness, or in dreame hear I this? In dreames, quoth Valerian, have we be unto this time, brother mine, y-wise, but now, at erst in truth our dwelling is. How know'st thou this? Quoth Tiburce, in what wise? Quoth Valerian, that shall I thee devise. The angel of God hath me the truth y-taught, which thou shalt see, if thou wilt renie the idols, and be clean and elles not. And of the miracle of these crownes, tway Saint Ambrose in his preface list to say. Solemnly this noble doctor dear commandeth it, and saith in this manner: The palm of martyrdom for to receive, Saint Cecily, full filled of God's gift, the world and eke her chamber gan to wave. Witness Tiburce's and Cecily's shrift, to which God of his bounty woulde shift coronas too, of flowers well smelling, and made his angel them the crownes bring. The maid hath brought these men to bliss above, the world hath wist what it is worth, certain, devotion of chastity to love. Then showed him Cecily all open and plain, that idols all are but a thing in vain, for they be dumb, and thereto they be deave, and charge him with his idols for to leave. Whoso that troweth not this, a beast he is, quoth this Tiburce, if that I shall not lie. And she gan kiss his breast when she heard this, and was full glad he could the truth espy. This day I take thee for mine ally, said this blissful faire maiden dear, and after that she said as ye may hear. Lo, right so as the love of Christ, quoth she, made me thy brother's wife, right in that wise anon for mine ally here take I thee. Since that thou wilt thine idols despise, go with thy brother now, and thee baptize, and make thee clean, so that thou mayst behold the angel's face, of which thy brother told. Tiburce answered and saide, Brother dear, first tell me whither I shall, and to what man. To whom, quoth he, come forth with good cheer, I will thee lead unto the Pope Urban. To Urban, brother mine Valerian, quoth then Tiburce, wilt thou me thither lead? Methinketh that it were a wondrous deed. Meanest not that Urban, quoth he though, that is so often damned to be dead, and wans and halkes always to and fro, and dare not ones putte forth his head? Men should him brennen in a fire so red, if he were found, or if men might him spy, and us also, to bear him company. And while we seeke that divinity that is y-hid in heaven privily, algate burnt in this world should we be. To whom Cecily answered boldely, Men mighte dreade well and skilfully this life to lose, mine owen deare brother, if this were living only, and none other. But there is a better life in other place, that never shall be loste, dread thee not, which Godde's Son us tolde through his grace, that Father's Son which alle thinges wrought, and all that wrought is with a skilful thought. The ghost that from the Father gan proceed hath souled them withouten any dread. By word and by miracle high God's Son, when he was in this world, declared here, that there is other life where men may won. To whom answered Tiburce, O sister dear, saidest thou not right now in this manner, there was but one God, Lord in soothfastness, and now of three how mayst thou bear witness? That I shall tell, quoth she, ere I go. Right as a man hath sapiences three, memory, engine, and intellect also, so in one being of divinity three persons there maye right well be. Then gan she him full busily to preach of Christe's coming and his paines to teach, and many pointes of his passion, how Godde's Son in this world was withhold, to do mankinde plain remission, that was abound in sin and cares cold. All this thing she unto Tiburce told, and after that Tiburce, in good intent, with Valerian to Pope Urban he went. That thanked God, and with glad heart and light He christened him, and made him in that place perfect in his learning, and Godde's knight. And after this Tiburce got such grace, that every day he saw in time and space the angel of God, and every manner boon that be God asked, it was sped full anon. It were full hard by order for to sayn how many wonders Jesus for them wrought, but at the last, to telle short and plain, the sergeants of the town of Rome them sought, and them before Almach the prefect brought, which them opposed, and knew all their intent, and to the image of Jupiter them sent, and said, Whoso will not do sacrifice, swap off his head, this is my sentence here. Anon these martyrs that I you devise, one Maximus, that was an officer of the prefects, and his cornicolare them hent, and when he forth the saintes lad, himself he wept for pity that he had. When Maximus had heard the saintes lore, he got him of the tournementores leave, and led them to his house without a more. And with their preaching, ere that it were eve, they gonen from the tormentors to reave, and from Maxim, and from his folk each one, the false faith to trow in God alone. Cecilia came, when it was waxen night, with priestes, that them christened all in fear. And afterward, when day was waxen light, Cecile them said with a steadfast cheer, Now, Christus own knights, liefe and dear, cast all away the workes of darkness, and arme you in armor of brightness. Ye have forsooth done a great battale, your course is done, your faith have ye conserved. O, to the crown of life that may not fail, the rightful judge which that ye have served shall give it to you, as ye have it deserved. And when this thing was said, as I devise, men led them forth to do the sacrifice. But when they were unto the placed brought, to tell us shortly the conclusion, they would incense nor sacrifice right not, but on their knees they sette them adown, with humble heart and sad devotion, and loste both their heads in the place, their soules went to the King of grace. This Maximus, that saw this thing betide, with piteous tears told it anon right, that he their soules saw to heaven glide, with angels, full of clearness and of light, and with his word converted many a wight, for which Almachius did him to beat with whip of lead till he his life gan leat. Cecile him took, and buried him anon, by Tiburce and Valerian softily, within their burying place under the stone. And after this Almachius hastily bade his ministers fetchen openly Cecile, so that she might in his presence do sacrifice and Jupiter incense. But they, converted at her wise lore, wept full sore, and gave full credence unto her word, and cried more and more, Christ, Godde's Son, without a difference, is very God, this is all our sentence, that hath so good a servant him to serve, thus with one voice we trow, though we sterve. Almachius, that heard of this doing, bade fetch Cecilie, that he might her see, and elder first, lo, this was his asking. What manner woman art thou? Quoth he. I am a gentle woman born, quoth she. I aske thee, quoth he, though it thee grieve, of thy religion and of thy believe. Ye have begun your question foolishly, quoth she, that wouldest two answers conclude in one demand. Ye ask lewdly. Almach answered to that similitude, Of whence comes thine answering so rude? Of whence? Quoth she, when that she was freined, Of conscience, and of good faith unfeigned. Almachius saide, Takest thou no heed of my power? And she him answered this, Your might, quoth she, full little is to dread, for every mortal manne's power is but like a bladder full of wind y-wise. For with a needle's point, when it is blow, may all the boast of it be laid full low. Full wrongfully begunnest thou, quoth he, and yet in wrong is thy perseverance. Know'st thou not how our mighty princes free have thus commanded and made ordinance, that every Christian wight shall have penance, but if that he his Christendom withsay, and go all quit, if he will it renay? Your princes erren, as do your nobly doth, quoth then Cecile, and with a wood sentence yet make us guilty, and it is not sooth. For ye that knowe well our innocence, for as much as we do I reverence to Christ, and for we bear a Christian name, yet put on us a crime and eke a blame. But we that know thilke name so for virtuous, We may it not withsay, Almach answered. Choose one of these two, do sacrifice, or Christendom renay, that thou mayest now escape by that way. At which the holy blissful faire maid gan for to laugh, and to the judge said, O judge, confused in thy nicety, wouldest thou that I renay innocence? To make me a wicked wight, quoth she. Lo, he dissimuleth here in audience, he stareth and woodeth in his advertence. To whom Almachius said, Unseelie wretch, know thou not how far my might may stretch? Have not our mighty princes to me given ye both power and eke authority, to make folk to dien or to liven? Why speakest thou so proudly then to me? I speak not but steadfastly, quoth she. Not proudly, for I say as for my side, we hate deadly thilke vice of pride. And if thou dreade not sooth to hear, then will I show all openly by right, that thou hast made a full great leasing here. Thou sayest thy princes have thee given might, both for to slay and for to quick a wight. Thou that mayest not but only life bereave, thou hast none other power nor no leave. But thou mayest say, the princes have thee maked minister of death, for if thou speakest of mo thou liest, for thy power is full of naked. Do away thy boldness, said Almachius tho, and sacrifice to our gods ere thou go. I reckon not what wrong that thou me proffer, for I can suffer it as a philosopher. But these wronges may I not endure, that thou speakest of our goddess here, quoth he. Cecile answered, O nice creature, thou saidest no word, since thou spake to me, that I knew not therewith thy nicety, and that thou wert in every manner wise, a lewed officer, a vain justice. There lacketh nothing to thine outward eyen, that thou art blind, for thing that we see all that it is stone, that men may well espyen, that ilke stone God thou wilt it call. I rede thee let thine hand upon it fall, and taste it well, and stone thou shalt it find, since that thou seest not with thine eyen blind. It is a shame that the people shall so scorne thee, and laugh at thy folly, for commonly men wot it well over all, that mighty God is in his heaven high, and these images well mayst thou espy, to thee nor to themselves may not profite, for in effect they be not worth a mite. These wordes and such others saide she, and he waxed wroth, and bade men should her lead home to her house, and in her house, quotha he, burn her right in a bath with flames red. And as he bade, right so was done the deed, for in a bath they gan her fast shetten, and night and day great fire they under betten, the longe night and eke day also, for all the fire and eke the bath's heat, she sat all cold, and felt of it no woe, it made her not one droppe for to sweat, but in that bath her life she must lette, for he, Almachius, with full wick intent to slay her in the bath his sonde sent. 3 strokes in the neck he smote her tho, the tormentor, but for no manner chance he might not smite her faire neck in two, and for there was that time an ordinance that no man should do man such penance, the 4th stroke to smite, soft or sore, this tormentor he durste do no more. But half dead, with her necke carven, there he let her lie, and on his way is went. The Christian folk, which that about her were, with sheetes have the blood full fair y hent. 3 days lived she in this torment, and never ceased them the faith to teach, that she had fostered them, she gan to preach. And them she gave her mebles and her thing, and to the Pope Urban betook them tho, and said, I aske this of heaven's king, to have respite 3 days, and no more, to recommend to you, ere that I go, these soles low, and that I might do worch here of mine house perpetually a church. Saint Urban with his deacons privily the body fetched, and buried it by night among his other saintes honestly. Her house the church of Saint Cecilie hight, Saint Urban hallowed it, as he well might, in which unto this day, in noble wise, men do to Christ and to his saint service. End of the second Nun's Tale.
Hello. So there we go. All kinds of nuns' tales and a fun guessing game as to what I was building. Yes, it's a doll leg. So, hey Faye, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Yay, yummy coffee. So thanks for coming and joining me. I really appreciate it. And if you have any requests, just hit me up on any of my social media and hashtag CBN BK request, and I should be able to find it. I do books from LibriVox.org for on Sunday afternoons and Tuesday nights. So thanks very much for joining me, and we'll see you next time for some more Chaucer Canterbury Tales. Chaucer. Thanks. Yeah. Bye.